3 seeded Denver Nuggets will get home field advantage against the 6 seed Timberwolves, and it is the most anticipated first-round matchup, just from team quality, but then also there's history here. In the past 3 years, they've faced off twice in the playoffs, and the teams are 1-1. You go back to 2024 playoffs. 2023 playoffs, the year the Nuggets won it, they took out the Timberwolves, but then Timberwolves got revenge a year later when the Nuggets were looking to repeat, and the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets on the way to their first of 2 consecutive conference finals appearances. So it just seems like an absolute treat that we get this matchup in the first round. The Nuggets are pretty heavy favorites here in this round.
6.5.
For game 1, yes, and
Yes.
they're minus 350 to win the
Oh,
series.
yes.
As
I
a
forgot
whole.
that we have to think about that now.
Correct. Over the last 15 games, the Nuggets have a 19.4 net rating, and the Timberwolves are down to just a 2.6 net rating across their last 15 games. And then last thing I'll say, and then I'll kind of kick it to y'all for y'all's thoughts, but just real quick injuries. One of the reasons the Timberwolves' net rating is so low across the last 15 games is Jaden McDaniels has been hurt, but he should be back for the playoffs. And also Ant has just kind of been a little banged up, has missed some games. So obviously you're missing your best player and like your 4th or 5th best player and one of your key defenders. It's going to really drag down the quality of team play. And then, last thing, the Nuggets have won 12 in a row coming to the playoffs, which is the largest winning streak that someone currently has heading into the playoffs. Thoughts on this matchup?
Ready for another Ant series and
Sure.
Ant playoffs in general. Averaging 27, 6, and 6 in 42 games of his playoff career. He has been a playoff performer for sure. Has not fallen by any means. In the conference finals, he struggled, but to this point, it was like he got tired. Was really kind of been the claim. Or last year it was just overwhelming in terms of the amount of options that they could throw at him defensively.
The Thunder said, "We will not let you beat us."
Yeah. And they forced guys like Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to have, and Naz Reid as well, to have big games, and none of them did for literally the entire series outside of the one game that they won. So I'm really excited for that. To see, it doesn't feel like the Timberwolves are really at full power, but I do know that when they play the Nuggets, they're going to play at full power. And to see the Nuggets fully healthy, playing at full power as well, it really feels like a big Titan battle.
Sure.
And I really can't wait to watch that. Also, with the subtle changes in the two teams, in this third time that they're matching up, no Michael Porter Jr. anymore. Now it's Cam Johnson and Peyton Watson are really playing those minutes. There's no Karl Anthony Towns. It's now Julius Randle. It's Munso. How do you say his last name?
Dosunmu.
From Chicago, who's been a key piece for Minnesota this year. Terrence Shannon has kind of came on in his now second year with the Timberwolves as well. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see another chapter in this story.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Chiefs Bills in a way, where it not just it's different in that the Chiefs have been one-sided in that, but we have seen different chapters of that story multiple times in the playoffs, and I can't wait to see another 7-game series of it. X's and O's wise, I don't know if Rudy Gobert is going to do enough on top of Naz Reid or Julius Randle to slow down Nikola Jokic. And so it gets into the theory that we talked about last year a ton, which was, do you just let Nikola Jokic go for 50 and not let him get 15 assists on top of that, and his team, he'd be responsible for 85 points? I do think maybe that is the approach is to let Nikola Jokic score. How they're going to stop the two-man game, I'm really curious to see how that will go, because it is at full force, and it is, we talked about it earlier with the Spurs, it's unstoppable. When it's going, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic in their two-man game is legitimately unstoppable.
Yep.
The only way it is stopped is if they somehow miss, and they rarely miss. It's like 70-80% shooting when they do that stuff. So the Timberwolves having to match up against that for 7 straight games, Lord willing, we get 7 straight games.
Please.
I would be. I'm really excited to see what kind of wrinkles, Minnesota and Coach Finch throw at the Nuggets.
Speaking of like different chapters too, one of the biggest differences is there's no Na on the Timberwolves anymore, and he was one of the people that would be a primary defender on Jamal Murray, and he's gone. So like, is DeSunmo, when he's in the game, does he get those reps? Do you
DiVincenzo,
do you make Jaden McDaniels guard him as a bit of a bigger guy and see if his length can get after him? Just something to monitor. I do think this is going to be, unsurprisingly, a high offensive output series. It's going to be Ant and Jokic trading buckets, and we're just going to have to see. Basically, like, I know the Nuggets are going to score a ton, so I think if the Timberwolves want to win this, it's like, can your offense just hit another level for 7 games and find a way to win a bunch? Because honestly, it's been a bit of a disappointing season for the Timberwolves in terms of they're the 6th seed. And people have given them a pass for kind of a mediocre up and down regular season where they kind of consistently played up and down to the level of competition, and they got the pass because they've been to 2 conference finals in a row. But now this is what happens when you have a bit of an up and down regular season of, your path to the conference finals is now Nuggets round 1 and then probably Spurs round 2. So like, can you really get back to that point? It's going to take a lot from Ant. You're going to need a Julius Randle lock-in, and that's a guy that doesn't often lock in for a full series. Yeah, what does Rudy Gobert give you on Jokic defensively? You're not going to stop Jokic, but like, can he get a couple big stops? Even just like twice a game, just turn away Jokic at the rim, or like make Jokic pass it out, or alter Jokic's shot enough for him to miss. It's a big ask, but like, can you do that? Because that's the only way you're going to come out of this with a series win. And, I mean, that's why Denver's a minus 350 favorite.
Yeah, and then I'm also looking at Minnesota's previous, like, they lost 4-1 in their last 2 runs to the finals. It was to the eventual champions both years, right? It was the no, it wasn't. It wasn't, because the Mavericks lost to the Celtics. And then they lost, and then last year they lost to the Thunder. But like, specifically, like, looking at last year, oh wait, no, never mind. I was looking at something wrong. Never mind. I was going to talk about like them. I mean, it just sucks to play the Nuggets, right? Because if you're the Timberwolves, they beat the Lakers 4-1, and then beat the Warriors 4-1, and that's kind of like the ideal setup to play the Thunder, right? You've won 8 games in 10 tries. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done because the Thunder were just really, really good last year. But that's kind of what you need this season to make a run, is you need to get through the first couple rounds quick, and I don't think that's going to happen against the Nuggets.
They are going to, I think, be the underdog in all 4 series they play, if they were to make it through 4 series. Because I would expect it to be like the Celtics in the finals, and they won't be favored against the Celtics. So it is going to be, to your point, a much, much more difficult road for the Timberwolves. Last year, it was the Lakers in round 1, and it was Luka was very fresh. We had just seen that trade pre-All-Star break, or right before the trade deadline, and then the Warriors, Curry ended up hurting his hamstring, so you played Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga Warriors and Buddy Hield Warriors, and you clean that game up, or that series up in 5. This year, it's going to be 3 Titan battles to get to the finals, and then it's the NBA Finals. So I don't think the Timberwolves are live as a championship pick. I do think in this series, the one thing I'm looking for the Timberwolves is Anthony Edwards. There's no one, unless they put Aaron Gordon on him, in this series that can guard him. And so I cannot see the playoff games that we have seen from him in the past where he just doesn't score for the first 16, 20 minutes of the game. That cannot happen.
Yeah, and it won't. It's Ant. The way he plays, I just don't see it happening. I think it's gonna be consistent 30 bombs for him in this series, and they're gonna need him. But you are right. Compared to what he saw in the OKC series, he's gonna walk into these games and be giddy at who's guarding him, at the looks he's getting.
It's not even great rim protection either.
No,
So,
not at all.
And then, did y'all already talk about this? I was trying to look at something else about the Nuggets, how this is kind of like the ideal situation, how they were almost the 4 seed and would have had to play the Thunder, who they are 1-4 against this year, but now instead is the 3 seed. They have a chance to match up against the Spurs in the second round. Like talking about pass to the finals, this is the better path for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I just honestly don't think they care that much because for them, they've already won it all. You have Jokic and Murray. Your goal is to win it all. You're gonna have to play the Thunder at some point.
Yeah.
And it's better to play the Spurs than the Thunder in round 2. But if you're on the other side of the bracket, it means you're probably playing the Rockets in round 1 instead of the Timberwolves. And I'd much rather play the Rockets than the Timberwolves in round 1.
Yeah.
So you're basically trading off an easier first round matchup for a harder second round matchup in that scenario. So it's just what do you really want?
Yeah, that's fair.
But you got Jokic. They're ready to roll with whatever.
I think they just want their pieces to contribute outside of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. That being Aaron Gordon stays healthy throughout the playoffs and plays. But the guys like Peyton Watson and Tim Hardaway Jr., Cameron Johnson, Christian Brown.
Isn't Christian Brown on a max contract now? Am I making that up?
Not a max, but he did.
He did an extension.
He is the young guy they decided to pay.
Okay.
And
I knew he got an extension. I couldn't remember if it was the max contract.
On top of that, Bruce Brown, their former 6-man champion. So,
for or against his mustache. I don't know if you've seen his mustache. He's got the handlebar mustache.
I haven't seen the updated mustache.
Okay.
Is this new?
I don't know how long he's been rocking it. But
it's not in his player photo to start the year.
It's just a handlebar mustache. You may have to look it up, or we can reconvene after a couple playoff games. I can't decide. I don't think I like it, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty bad. So Bruce Brown with his handlebar mustache. I do think they want to just see that those 5 guys are contributing pieces throughout the postseason because I do think they are very, very live and should be to win the NBA championship this year because they're healthy outside of Aaron Gordon and they have pieces. Like last year we just talked about them and they have 4 guys, maybe 5 that can play. This year I do think they have shown at times that they have multiple guys that they can turn to. And it's also different in that those guys also don't have any, there's no scar tissue with, Cameron Johnson or Tim Hardaway Jr. for this team specifically in the postseason yet.
Yeah.
Like there was with Michael Porter Jr. And even Peyton Watson or Julian Strawher. So I think there's going to be some trust there. There's going to be some belief in the fan base as well. They got one of the best home court advantages in basketball on top of that, and they play so well on the road because Jokic is so good. I think they would like to see in this opening series those guys be up for the battle for the Timberwolves, because if they can be up for the battle with a rival in the Timberwolves, then I think they can against the Spurs and the Thunder.
I think it's good. I think it's a good point. 'Cause as much as we've lauded Jokic and Murray, they're going to need some help to beat the other top dogs, and so who do you get it from? And it is the blessing in disguise of when Jokic was hurt this season. It lets some guys get more reps and a higher usage rate, and that could potentially pay dividends here in the playoffs. Should we pick the series?
I'm going Nuggets.
In
6.
I am also Nuggets in 6 is where I was at.
I think the Nuggets get it done in 5.
Okay.
I think they're on a collision
What does that mean?
course.
They have to win 1 in Minnesota?
They just have to win 1 in Minnesota and win
2, 1 and
every
1,
other
and
game
then
at home.
1 and 1. Yeah.
So I think they'll win the first 2 games at home, and then they'll steal one of the games in Minnesota and win
And then
game
come
5.
back and win at home. Yep.